Can ballroom dancing save St. Louis's youth? Well, one nonprofit seems to think so. We're going to learn more next on City Corner. Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson and welcome to City Corner. Ballroom dancing, sure, we love to watch it, some of us love to do it, but is it the answer to increase social development and academic excellence amongst our children? We're going to discuss that today with Lauren Wilmore. She is the Executive Director of St. Louis Dancing Classrooms. It's a nonprofit organization that really sort of pushes and advocates for social dance as a way to help our area's youth. So tell us about it. Tell us, what is St. Louis Dancing Classrooms?
St. Louis Dancing Classrooms is an in-school residency that uses ballroom dance to build social awareness, confidence, and self-esteem. It was started in 1994 in New York City by a man named Pierre Dulaine. He's a world champion ballroom dancer, born in Jaffa, Palestine, has traveled the world performing and teaching, and decided he wanted to dedicate his life to transforming children's lives through the practice of social dance. He recognized that it really has a unique ability to help young people internalize the value of respect and for them to understand what it means to work together towards a common goal, where everyone really has to be doing their part in order for us to achieve at the high levels that we're capable of. So he started that in New York City in just 1 or 2 schools. All of a sudden it was in every school in New York City, and people around the country started asking him, please, Pierre, could we bring this great program to our city? And we were one of them, and thankfully he said yes. So now we have it here in St. Louis. 2 years ago we got it started, and we went from just this ball of energy and an idea and passion, and all of a sudden now we're in 15 schools, hopefully even more this coming school year, and we've got a workforce actually of 5 teaching artists teaching all around the city.
Okay, so just to kind of put that, Dancing Classrooms is a model essentially that was started by Pierre Dulaine. You've sort of taken that model, started St. Louis Dancing Classrooms. So for the past 2 years, you've been working with youth in the St. Louis area at specific schools. What grade levels are we talking about? Because I know a lot of people, we're not talking about like 17-year-old high school seniors taking like cha-cha or, you know, or doing, we're talking about specifically middle school students, and tell us how that sort of intersects at that age group with their development.
This program is developmentally perfect for people who are in the 5th grade. In some places they also work with 8th graders, because in 5th grade they're just beginning to become socially really aware and develop social structure in their grade level, and they're going to be going on to middle school where those things are going to become even more pronounced. So it's a great opportunity developmentally for us to say, hey, we're maybe different from each other, but we're all 10-year-olds. We can all dance the same merengue, we can all speak the same language, and we can all do great things together.
And so you're working with 5th grade and 8th grade students. And what types of schools are you at right now, and what type of schools would you like to be working with down the road?
Currently we're in many different types of schools. We're in traditional public schools, charter schools, and very many Archdiocese parochial schools. That's actually where we started. We had our very first dancing classroom at St. Francis Cabrini Academy when we were just getting started, and Pierre Dulaine himself gave us permission to just try it in just 1 school, and we asked the Archdiocese, could we please use some of your kids and do a classroom, and they said yes, thankfully, and loved it. So we're in a lot of Archdiocese schools all the way from St. Charles down into all over the city, from north to the South and everywhere in between, and all the way down into Hillsborough and DeSoto.
Really? Wow, I didn't realize that you went that far. And what kind of social, when we think of ballroom dancing, there's, you know, everyone thinks of Dancing with the Stars and all these sort of the pop culture that surrounds right now social dance, but what kind of dances are the students learning that, again, is instilling this level of respect for, you know, respect for each other and sort of increasing their social awareness?
I love that you mentioned Dancing with the Stars, because one of the very exciting things is that Hines Ward, who won last season, they have dancing classrooms in Pittsburgh, and of course he's a Pittsburgh Steeler,
okay.
So he got to go into their classrooms and encourage them and say hello. Well, we're doing they're all the same ballroom dances. We're doing a little bit more basic steps, but we're learning the same dances. You'll see the foxtrot on Dancing with the Stars, the waltz. You'll see sometimes the Latin dances, the merengue, the rumba, the tango, and we also do the swing. So sometimes on Dancing with the Stars, I do some samba, a little bit more international. We do American style ballroom dances. So,
okay.
But really, it's the same thing.
And what would you say? I mean, here we are talking just to really get into people's minds, like what this does to students. I mean, here they are, they're 5th and 8th graders, they're going to school. This is an in-school residency program, so instead of gym, they might be going to this. What are they really learning? Over a 10-week program, what do you see are the differences in students? What is it teaching them, and how is this really benefiting them in the short term and the long term?
On our very first day at any given classroom, we say, we're going to be doing ballroom dancing, and do you know that that means you're dancing with a partner? Raise your hand. And we get scared looks from every single person in the audience in our classroom. And then we say, okay, now you have to touch each other's, we call them pancakes. You have to touch each other's pancakes. And they go, oh no, I don't want to do that. Ew, it's horrible. And that first day, they're having so much fun, and yet they're being tortured because they don't want to touch each other. And it's just interesting that children who have been together, sometimes since kindergarten, can't even think about touching each other.
Sure, sure.
So on that very first class, we bridged that gap. All of a sudden, kids who might not have even spoken to each other for the past few years maybe in school, they're touching each other.
And they're learning how to
together.
do the waltz, or they're learning how to do steps together.
Exactly.
Well, what I thought was so interesting is that it's, you know, when reading through all the material for St. Louis Dancing Classrooms, is how it helps with students' respect for each other, how it helps even on the academic side, that it makes them more focused and sort of enthusiastic about school in general. So tell me a bit more about how you see in those 10 weeks that development with the students.
Well, first of all, in terms of respect, one thing that we see is that we say to them, you have to ask your partner, may I have this dance, please? And your partner has to accept. So we're always approaching each other respectfully. And when you practice that over 10 weeks, at some point it gets internalized, and it's like, oh, may I have this dance, please? We don't love each other, but may I please have this dance? And then at the end of every dance, we thank each other. It seems very basic, but somehow amongst each other, for young people, a lot of that kind of thing tends to get lost. And all of a sudden we're saying, this is the correct way to interact with each other, how to touch each other respectfully, and recognize that it's a privilege to be around that person, to dance with them, have fun with them, and that you want them to smile and have fun with you. So in terms of respect, it kind of really comes from the dancing. Academically, sometimes it helps students to focus because it gives them a way to see that they can be successful, especially for students that maybe haven't been academically successful their entire school career. It seems that it's proven over and over, no matter what I do, it doesn't work out. I don't do well. Suddenly they come to dancing classrooms, every student can do this, and every student has fun with it if they allow themselves to, and it completely changes that mindset. All of a sudden it's, oh, if I show up and I listen to the teacher and I do the work, I learned the merengue and I can do it, and that somehow psychologically transfers into the classroom. I come to class, I pay attention, I do the work, this math is not that hard anymore.
Right, and yeah, I mean, people say that a lot between tie-ins with athletics, for example, sometimes the discipline that's instilled. I want to go back to Pierre Dulaine and sort of talk again about sort of the pop culture aspect of this. Pierre Dulaine was portrayed in the film with Antonio Banderas, Take the Lead, and there were some little, they made some, you know, they kind of went a little off, you know, based with that. I think they have them as high school students.
Yes.
Antonio Banderas portrays Pierre Dulaine, but talk about Take the Lead and Mad Hot Ballroom, the award-winning documentary. Those are sort of the inspiration inspiration, and it's all about dancing classrooms.
Absolutely. So Mad Hot Ballroom is a 2005 documentary. It is true to the program because it is a documentary. So there you see from the kids' perspectives, these fifth graders who all of a sudden are in this ballroom dance program, and we see them going around their daily lives in New York City talking about things that, topics that arise because of their involvement in the dance program. And this is really the way that a lot of people across the country came to find out about dancing classrooms.
Well, I think we actually have a clip that I hope that we can play. I'm hoping we can play it because it is a great sort of intro and example of that. So hopefully we can take a look at a clip from Mad Hot Ballroom, and its award-winning documentary, again, about this concept of dancing classrooms. So let's take a look.
Sit tall like you're about to enter a ballroom, which is what you're about to do. Okay, all right. Show me some imagination, all right? Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please enter the ballroom and create a circle. Enter the ballroom and create a circle. Let's get in our imaginary ghost position, dance position. And without touching anyone, skate across the floor. Ready, go, skate, skate.
The children and most of the people who live here in Washington Heights come from Dominican Republic. There are a large percentage of single-parent families. There are many children being raised by grandparents, aunts, uncles, many situations where more than one family lives in a home. So the children don't have much advantage. There's 97% poverty rate in the school. So the children come to school with issues.
Here we go.
Children in a middle-class neighborhood have many more advantages. If they want to go to dancing school, they can go to dancing school. If they want to take piano lessons, they can take piano lessons because their parents can afford it. This program is free for the kids.
All right, so that was a clip from Mad Hot Ballroom. That was the 2005 documentary that won a lot of awards. Was that sort of put this program and dancing classrooms, the model, on the national stage? Was that part of the inspiration for you to want to start it here in St. Louis?
Absolutely. During that time, I had been teaching ballroom dance here in St. Louis for a while, and I really think that anyone who's seen that documentary, loves ballroom dancing, knows what it's done for them personally, and cares about children, has thought to themselves, we need that program here in this town. It's just a matter of taking the next step. So my co-founder, Arash Sabet, and I got on the phone 4th of July of 2008, and I was driving to Chicago, I'll never forget it, and we just planned to make it happen. Next thing you know, we're talking to Pierre Dulaine on the phone.
And here you are now, 2011, with St. Louis Dancing Classrooms. Well, we're going to actually, which is a real treat, we have two students here who have been working with Lauren and working with St. Louis Dancing Classrooms. They're going to come on set with us, talk about their experiences, what they love about the program, some dances that they've learned. So please stay with us right here on City Corner.
When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Jose and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org.
Keep watching STL TV. Experience St. Louis.
Why do people think there's more disagreement in the state legislature than in most families? My brother and I argue about everything, even which TV show to watch. Mom says our elected officials debate important issues every day, and they may argue too, but in the end they compromise, and that's how the best decisions are made. Am I missing something?
Learn more about how compromise works by logging on to www.representativedemocracy.org.
Keep watching STL TV. Experience St. Louis.
Any questions?
What kind of service plan does this come with?
Unlimited.
Can I keep my same phone number? Does it have a camera? What's the warranty? Can I put my party shuffle on this?
Any questions?
No.
For the 10 questions everyone should know, go to ahrq.gov.
Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome back to City Corner. Today we're talking about ballroom dancing, and not just ballroom dancing, but ballroom dancing and it being taught to our city's youth through a nonprofit organization called St. Louis Dancing Classrooms. We were talking in the first half of the show with Lauren Wilmore, who's the executive director. We have two special guests who've joined us. Lauren, do you want to introduce our guests and tell me their connection to St. Louis Dancing Classrooms?
Well, we have Brianna and Darrell. They are 6th grade students at St. Francis Cabrini Academy. So they did the Dancing Classrooms residency last spring, and they were the winners of the competition last year. So they are our ballroom champions. And currently, they are working together with us on the weekends to refine their ballroom dancing skills, because we're going to do some performances around St. Louis in September and October.
So you, Brianna and Darrell, you are essentially the ambassadors, the St. Louis Dancing Classroom ambassadors. So tell me, I mean, last year was your first year learning ballroom dance. Brianna, what did you think when St. Louis Dancing Classrooms came to your school, when Lauren came to your school? What were you thinking about what you were about to learn?
I was very excited because I always wanted to learn how to ballroom dance, and I think it would be really fun.
And so you had this 10-week course. What was your favorite dance?
Definitely the merengue.
The merengue, very good. And Darrell, were you partners with Brianna, or you're just you're in the same class?
Yeah.
And so tell me about your experience with St. Louis Dancing Classrooms.
At first I thought I didn't want to do it, but as we kept doing it, it got funner and better, and so I started liking it, and it's fun.
And clearly you guys are now one of the top students through the program, because you're going around St. Louis. Darrell, what dance did you really like? What was one of your favorite dances?
The merengue.
The merengue? What do you both like about the merengue?
It's a really fun party dance, and you just get to relax, smile, and have lots of fun.
Okay, and what do you like about it, Darrell?
You get loose and have fun.
We get loose and have fun. So tell me, before you ever took ballroom dancing, before St. Louis Dancing Classrooms came, and you do this course, you take this 10-week course, and now you're doing this all the time, what changes have you noticed in yourselves? What changes have you noticed? Are you doing better in school? Do you feel more focused? Are you more appreciative of your classmates? Just tell me some of the changes that maybe you've seen in yourself as a result of doing the ballroom dancing.
I think that I've become more active in things with school, and I'm more focused of what the things I do, like during tests or homework.
Okay, that's interesting. Darrell, what about you?
I have more manners now. It's like when you offer the girls your hand in dancing.
So you've learned sort of etiquette and some manners. That's really interesting that you say that. I mean, do you notice that a lot? Is this sort of sometimes the first time some of the students might be learning sort of etiquette and how to sort of treat each other in that way?
It definitely is. You think it's basic, but it's really not. I mean, I think young people need to practice it. They need to be told, this is the way that you ask a lady to dance, or just this is the way that you're gracious towards another human being sometimes. So
it's like, so tell me about the St. Louis Ambassadors program. What is that? Obviously, Darrell and Brianna are part of that, but tell me what exactly that entails.
Well, thankfully, now that we have lots of students around the St. Louis area who have done some dancing with us and who've enjoyed it and loved it, we wanted to provide an opportunity for them to do some more dancing. Our program currently is the 10-week residency, and we're developing ways that we can have more contact with kids afterwards. And this was just a preliminary way that we could get started with it. So we were able to get to perform at several different locations around St. Louis in September and October at the Hispanic Festival, the Taste of St. Louis, places like that. Kids Night on Broadway. We'll be dancing the tango with Gomez and Morticia there. But we just had some rehearsals with them, with some of our teaching artists, to kind of just refine what they already knew, kind of massage it, make it a little bit smoother, and then we get to perform.
So I have a question for you guys. What would you tell other students your age at a different school that doesn't have this, and they were thinking about having St. Louis dancing classrooms come to that school? What would you say to students your same age about why they should participate in this?
I think that I would say that it's really fun, and dancing with other people, like boys or girls in your class, it's not boring, or you get to learn new things, and it's really cool.
Okay, and Darrell, what about you?
I think they should try it because it's a fun thing to do, and like maybe later on in the year or so, people might ask you to dance with them.
And that you know how to dance. Do you feel like you've learned a lot too about just culture in general? I know before, when you were on your way over here, you were talking about different dances and the countries that they come from. I mean, have you learned a lot about other countries and cultures as well?
Yeah.
So what have you, tell me one of the things you've learned. What was it that you were talking about earlier, where the waltz comes from?
Yeah, the waltz comes from...
Not Australia, but...
Austria.
Austria. So do you guys talk about, when you have your classes, there's also this kind of academic side as well, right? So you're learning about different countries and such. So, well, I'm glad you've been able to share it. I mean, we've got I want to be able to cover some of the events that are coming up. So take us through Pierre Dulane's visit that's coming up and some other things.
Absolutely. Well, before Pierre Dulane gets here, which is kind of the exciting highlight of our school year, we're going to be performing, as I mentioned, at the Hispanic Festival, Saturday, September 17th. We'll be there between 1:30 and 2. We'll be at the Taste of St. Louis on the Kids Kitchen stage with Radio Disney, and I believe that'll be around 3:30. Then we'll be at Kids Night on Broadway, teaching people to dance the tango, which is going to be tons of fun.
Oh, that'll be great. But the big one is...
The big one is Pierre Dulane coming in October. So he'll be here October 6th and 7th. That's a Thursday and Friday. He'll be teaching a couple of classes around town. But on Thursday, October 6th in the evening, at the Centene Center for Arts and Education, we'll be hosting a big dance party to celebrate his presence there. Of course, he's a world champion ballroom dancer. How could we have him come and not dance with him? So that'll be from 7 to 9 p.m., again at the Centene Center. The suggested donation is $10. These young ladies and gentlemen will be also performing there. So it's a great chance for you to check out and see what it is that we do. See them dancing their merengue and getting loose, as they said they like to do.
So you guys will have a chance to meet. Well, we have the information for that. So before we end the show, we'll be sure that people can go to your website to find that information, as well as write the dates down. I mean, we're sitting here with two of your students who started this last year. You're in your second year. Where do you hope to see this program go in the next couple years? What would be, ideally, what would you like to see as sort of the success of the program, let's say 5 years from now?
Our vision is to be in every 5th grade classroom in the St. Louis metropolitan area. And that's a lot of them, so it's going to take a lot of support from the community, especially just being advocates for us, helping us find out about schools where they're interested, helping say to their principals, I heard about this program, I think we should really check it out or find out more information. Or even just coming to a competition and cheering on some young people, because they really put their hearts and souls into dancing the tango. You want to see a 10-year-old look serious? Tell them they've got to compete in the tango. That is a serious face. So even just having support from the community in many ways is going to help us really to get into every school we want to be into.
Sure. I mean, I was going to ask you, I mean, what are your parents' response to you being involved in this? Have they seen, what kind of changes have they seen in you? Or do they encourage you? Tell me a bit about, not just when you're doing St. Louis dancing classrooms, you know, in the studio or at school, but when you get home, what are your parents saying?
They really like the fact that I'm dancing, like different kinds of dance. And my mom she actually wants me to teach her some of the dances.
Really?
So she can know them too.
So do you practice them at home?
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Yeah, and do you have any siblings that you teach them to?
No, my older brother's not really fond of that.
I see, he's not interested. But you are. What about you, Darrell? What do your parents say at home?
My mom, she likes the fact that I'm doing it, and she likes to learn stuff like that. And my big sister, she took the dancing class, and like sometimes me and her just dance together.
Oh, that's really sweet. I mean, do you see this as something that you're going to continue to do, you know, as you get older, not just through middle school, but are you hoping to keep this up as you grow older?
Yeah, and then in the future, I hope to learn more different kinds of dances.
And what about you, Darrell?
The dance I want to learn is the salsa.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's coming up for this year. What would you say at the end of the day? I mean, I know people have made the comparison with St. Louis dancing classrooms and being a program and a model similar to the Montessori model. Like it's essentially, even though we're just talking right now about salsa and merengue, this is really a program that has contributed so much to the social development of young people. It's been recognized for doing that. I mean, what would you say at the core is sort of, what's at the core of this? When people walk away from this and even watching this program, what would you like them to take away from knowing about St. Louis dancing classrooms and why it's important?
I think the core of it is that it gets to children, students, young ladies and gentlemen, where they are. It takes ballroom dance and brings it into the fifth graders' imagination and interest and makes them want to achieve it. Pierre Dulaine just has this uncanny natural ability to relate to children, and over the past almost 2 decades he took that and codified it. That's why it's been compared to the Montessori method. Is he's taken that and made it so it's replicable, that even though I'm not Pierre Dulaine, I can learn to teach someone in the same way that Pierre Dulaine does, so that I can have the same impact on that person. So really it's just that it's a methodology that's been honed and perfected over nearly 2 decades in multiple cities, is why we know that it's successful. Really, we take our work very seriously and we work our hardest to implement it, but the methodology in and of itself is just so strong that we have a guaranteed success.
Right. Well, because it's interesting, because a lot of times when we even talk about something a little bit beyond where you're at in school, but in college and college success rates, a lot of it comes down to not just the academic preparation, but cultural experience. And that's something that's really overlooked. People focus so much on the academics, which are absolutely crucial, but sometimes with students, even your age, that if they're not given those sort of social and cultural enhancements, that actually affects them down the road and can be a contributing factor for not going through college. It's quite interesting how that plays into it. But I'm so glad you guys joined us, and thank you, and best of luck to you as you continue to be ambassadors for St. Louis dancing classrooms. And Lauren, thank you for joining us. Is there any kind of closing remarks you want to say about the organization and the past 2 years and what you hope to see?
Well, thank you for having us on the show with you. And I just want to say that we've been so graciously received into so many schools in St. Louis. It's really been miraculous to see our organization double in size every year. And I just hope the trend continues and that we'll be dancing at everyone's school very soon.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you at home for watching City Corner. And if you want more information on St. Louis dancing classrooms, you can always find it on our website. Thank you again, and keep it locked right here on STL TV.